Hey, what's up, homie? Welcome back to Painted Gold, that show that we do, you know, so that you can ask us a question or two. And speaking of question or two, there's been a lot of questions coming in, and once again, a lot of those questions are the same question over and over. So one of those questions is, you know, is there any advice that you would give to somebody who's just starting off in this, if they were to ask us, hey, how do I get to where you guys got, you know?
I guess I would probably say that if you're asking for advice, especially from us, you probably should just go ahead and quit. Okay, so, you know, from what I understand, I'm getting a lot of questions about that title of the album, When Life Gives You Lemons, You Paint That Shit Gold. What's up with that?
I mean, I called it that because that was like kind of what the story of the album was to me, you know? Regardless of your situation, you always got to try to make the best of it. You always got to try to make it fly, gold. You know, I come from a school of hip hop, you know, that I grew up on, where gold did mean fly, from the gold chains, you know, to the way cats would dip their cars in gold with the emblems and all that stuff. You know, as a 16, 17-year-old, that was big to me. You know, that's, to me, I saw LL Cool J with all the gold and Slick Rick. It was like, whoa, they're doing it. You know, they're doing it big. That's fly. So to me, this story touches a lot on those concepts to me, you know, remembering what it was like as a kid and how we learned how to make the best of it. And plus, I wanted to put the word shit in an album title because I thought that would be funny, because I am a dork like that. Plus, you know, every record title of this is getting longer and longer. Yeah. I think I already know what the next one's going to be called. It's going to be called There Are Plenty of Decaffeinated Brands on the Market That Are Just as Tasty as the Real Thing.
I love it. All right, Slug. So my man Ronald from Los Angeles, he wants to know, you seem to work with a lot of other artists on their records. How come you don't have like other rappers on your records?
Because I don't need no rappers on my records, man. No, I'm joking, dude. Like, I'm kind of a control freak with the music I make, you know. I usually have a vision of how I think it's supposed to sound, what I think it's supposed to communicate, and so it's really rare that that vision includes somebody else's voice for me, you know, for better, for worse. That's just kind of how my head works, you know. But sometimes I do have guests, but when I do, you know, it's totally because that particular guest is also a very, very good friend of mine. I don't base it on who the freshest rapper is, let me get them to bust a verse, you know. I base my guests on who I'm close with, you know. And I'm just lucky that it so happens that the people I'm close with are really, really fresh rappers. Okay, Anthony, this question is for you. Ray from New Haven, Connecticut, what's up, Toad's Place? He wants to know, aside from the turntables, are there any instruments that you can play or that you wish that you could play?
You know, I guess when it comes to the instruments and stuff, I don't really give a shit about that too much. But maybe in my fantasy world, in my mind, I kind of like wish I could play like a grand piano, like in a peanut bar, or maybe like surrounded by like a lot of people at like a 5-star hotel lobby. So Slug, so Josh from Shalimar, Florida.
Shalimar, that's where Jody Watley lives.
Yeah, okay. He wants to know, all right, when you get back from touring, what's like your ultimate meal?
Well, thank you for asking. You know, on the road, you spend maybe 3 months out just eating shit for the most part. And food's a really important thing to me. So when I get home, I like to feast on a fine dinner of macaroni and cheese mixed with baked beans. The beans, you know, they give me my proteins and my gas to get me through the day. Macaroni, it gives me my carbs, you know, so that I can keep my pot belly. And I mean, the whole thing can be made for under $5. It's a
Alright, so Charlie Brown from Calgary, Canada wants to know, with all the touring that you guys do around the world, do you have any routine you do before each show?
I throw up. Adrenaline, you know, nervousness. And at this point, habit, you know. I'm used to it. It doesn't even really faze me anymore. I could do it on cue for you if you wanted me to. I could do it right here if you wanted.
Do it.
Give me the garbage. You don't believe me?
I believe you. I think, but you know, I'm not into this whole physical comedy shit.
Do you think the viewers want to see this?
Sure.
All right, homie. This is the part where we go to the pseudo celebrity question of the week. And this week, the pseudo celebrity question comes from Abstract Rude. Let's go to the clip.
So I got a question, man. Being in weather like this for 8 months out of the year, how does that affect, like, what you write about?
Truth is, man, it is pretty real. You know, we get up to 8 months of winter here in Minneapolis. And on top of that, we get another couple of months where we get to see the other seasons come at us, you know, just blaring. You know what I mean? And so I do think that those seasonal changes affect the music that we make. And I would even go as far to say as it affects the music that a lot of people from this city makes. You know, when I go and I look at, you know, some of my favorite groups from Minneapolis, like The Time or Prince, or, you know, even the things that I've heard from groups like The Replacements, a lot of the music that I always heard from them did sound like a colder version of who those guys were trying to imitate. You know, Prince was like a colder version of Jimi Hendrix or a colder version of George Clinton, you know, same with The Time. It was a colder funk. The Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis sound to me always sounded brittle and sharp and cold, you know. Replacements was like a colder version of whatever the fuck white people used to listen to. Okay, here's a question from Leah. Mm-hmm. I don't have her city, but her name is Leah. Mm-hmm. And she says that her parents are in their late 50s and 60s, and they dig us. They've been to the shows, they have the t-shirts, the albums, blah, blah, blah. Now, did you ever in a million years think that you would penetrate an audience that's older than you?
You said penetrate.
So Laura from Colorado Springs, which is in Colorado, wrote to ask, where did we film these episodes? Is that Ant's infamous basement? No, it's not Ant's basement. It's mine. Come here, Laura. This is my basement. These are my things. Those are all my posters and things that, oh, Mazzy Star, remember them? And this is, you got some musical equipment things of that nature. And oh shit, that's me. And it's a stereo. These are my magazines, and there's some toys, and look at Pee Wee Herman. Over here is where I keep records. I don't have as many as Ant. He's got more records than me, but I got a decent amount. I'm doing not too bad. Yeah, these are my things. These are the things that make me happy. This ain't no MTV Cribs, so that's all you get to see for now. Jessica from Escondido, California. She wants to know, what is our most embarrassing moments on stage? Do you got one?
Yeah, matter of fact, I hate even admitting this, but I had a cold. I'm on stage, the turntables, keyboards, the whole thing. And, you know, my nose is running and I don't want no one to see, so I'm kind of like, you know, trying to play it off and shit. But then I have to sneeze, and I cover my mouth like this, but I left like a little opening, and I sneezed, and some shit went flying out onto the keyboard, and it was pretty gross, and, you know, so, I don't know. Anyway, what's yours?
My most embarrassing moment on stage took place in London. I was on tour with Dibs and Lucky I Am, and we got to the venue late, and I didn't really get to do a sound check. I didn't never get to see the stage before the set. So when the set started up, I come running out with some lights going crazy and an all black stage, and there's me and there's Lucky, and I'm bouncing around like a bunny running through my shit. And right when I get to the chorus about how I'm trying to find a balance, and then I fall right into a big open hole that I didn't see because it was black. It was like 5 feet by 5 feet, 5 feet deep. And now I'm in the hole laying on my back on all of the extra equipment that the club keeps in this hole. That was the purpose of this hole. This is where they kept like extra amps and mic stands and things. And I'm laying on this stuff with stuff sticking in my neck.
Steady rapping.
And I'm still rapping. And then I finally get up and peek my head out of the hole, still rapping. And I see the crowd and they're all looking at me and they all realize I fell in this hole. And so, you know, my adrenaline is just going crazy. So I ain't gonna quit rapping. So, you know, rapping, and suddenly Tommy, Lucky I Am from the Living Legends, big ups, reaches down. And I don't know if you've ever seen Lucky, but his hands are like the size of my calf. He reaches down and he grabs me by the neck while I'm rapping and lifts me out of the hole and puts me on the stage like some kind of giant midget. and you know, the whole time never quit rapping, man. Kept the song going, kept, you know, lost my balance, but the show had to go on, man. That was a
yeah, it was good. Yeah.
God, it reminds me of another story, my most rock star moment on stage. I know nobody asked this shit. Can I tell this shit real quick?
Might as well.
All right, check this out, man. Aw shit, another young brother hit. I better go over my man's crib and get that's the end of this episode. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it. Don't forget, if you want to send in a question, you can send one to us at paintitgold@hotmail.com. One question per email, please. Oh, don't forget also, our new joint is dropping on April 22nd, 2008. It's called When Life Gives You Lemons, You Paint That Shit Gold. That's what's up. We're out of here. You got any last words you want to throw?
Of course not.
Word up. Love you.